Hey guys, DJ Ravine here, and welcome to another Point Blank Music School video. Today we're in Studio 4, which is the amazing DJ room. As you can see, there's a lot of amazing kit in here, but today it's all about the Traktor Kontrol S4 Mark III. I'm excited about this, so let's get into it.
Good, right, well we're going to basically look at the differences and the upgrades, definitely the upgrades of the Mark III compared to the Mark II. So let's take an overview look on this. So we go to the front and we can see that we can physically change, and it's going to override the software, the curve of the crossfade. And then we've got the actual throughs and inputs of each channel, so you can have them on through A or B.
So that's more like a hardware mixer, like say like a Pioneer DJing mixer. When it comes to the Crossfader Curve, it's actually a hardware thing.
What it'll do is when you put the software on, the hardware will actually override the software. It might be a reason why you're clicking on something and going, why doesn't it work? And actually, it's at the front, but it's really good because it means once you start, you can easily start, set up, and just go with it. Then on the front as well, we've got a combi mic jack now, so an XLR TRS. And then we've got two phone inputs. We've got a mini jack and a 1/4 inch as well.
Was the old one just a single jack?
Just a single 1/4 inch. And then we go to the back. So what we've got is we've got an additional powered USB, so we can plug in any USB with our music, but you can also use it as a controller add-on as well if you want to, because it powers through the controller.
Oh, so that's quite interesting. So you can actually put a USB in just like say a CDJ or something like that, and Traktor will read that?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
On the old one, it all had to be located on your laptop, right?
That's right, yeah.
Right.
So this one you can actually, because it's powered as well, I could plug in a Z1, an X1, an F1, or I can plug in any MIDI controller that I want to read, or an SSD with all my music on.
Could I plug in a USB hub into
Yes.
that and actually plug in two Z1s or something?
As far as I'm aware.
Okay, awesome.
And then what we've got as well now is we've got the option to have this as a standalone mixer. So we've got all 4 inputs here. So we can run Traktor using just the mixer, all in external/internal mode, making these more obsolete, and we can have, say, 4 CDJs. On the back as well, we've also got a jack mic in there. Now what that means is we've got 2 mic options, but it does mean we'll have to give up one of our external lines.
It's got a phono as well, I just realised.
Yeah, so you can plug all your turntables in with your ground back there as well, which is fantastic. So if you're going to do a Carl Cox 3-deck turntable thing, then why not? Then we've also got our booth out XLR outs now, which were not on the Mark II, and we've just got our RCAs out on the back. So let's have a look at one of the decks. One thing notably is the much bigger, flatter platter, but we'll get onto that in a second.
But firstly, size-wise though, is this, how much bigger is this than the old S4?
Not much bigger at all. It's a little bit wider and a little bit deeper, but actually, because of this section here, but actually it's not that much difference. Weight-wise, it's a lot heavier because we have motorized platters. And the other thing to note is this cannot be run off bus powered. It has to be plugged into the mains.
Whereas the old one could.
Whereas the old one could, all because of the motorized platters.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Now we've got 2 view browse buttons here. So instead of having one browse knob, we've got one that we can individually scroll up and down, and then the left click will load up deck A and the right click will load up deck B. Now, if you don't want to do this, you can actually now they've actually provided an open source in the software so you to MIDI map, just add on to your controller, which I think is a really nice touch. So if, for instance, you said, well, this one could be a browse for deck A and B, you could then do this one could be something else completely, which I think is really cool. So we've got on here, we've got preview. So this is our preview player. We've got our, if we hold down here, it scrolls through all the favorites of our tracks, so we don't have to search for them individually. And down here, we can make each one a favorite as well in our folder. And then we've got our view, which puts it into view browser mode.
So something about that preview thing, when you press the preview button, it's not going to play out your master speakers, is it?
Absolutely not. It's only going to play out the headphones, which you can look at in your preferences. But if we do put that on here, you can see it loading up down there, and it will just be like, is that the track I want? No, not yet. That's too much of a banger for this time of the night.
Cool.
Okay. Now we go down to the mixer section. We can obviously go from our lines and phonos. So you've got your phonos in the middle, and you can have your mics and lines on the outside.
And that's a switch to change.
That's the switch, and to turn it on and off as well. You can hold shift, and you can then swap to phono, line, and then turn it on and off. And then we've got our usual high, mid, lows. Now this is a new section here. This is mixer effects, and you might know it on other controllers as color effects. So you've got options, you've got the FX select 1, 2, 3, 4 and filter, but unlike hardware-based color effects, you can actually choose about, I think there's a number of 9 different mixer effects to assign to each one. So you can have that one as barber pole, reverb, flanger, etc. Now the beautiful thing is if you press one of them, it blankets the effect to all 4 channels.
Yeah, so just like you would normally use in a DJing.
Absolutely. But if you then want to have, say, one effect on deck A here, and then if we hold this one, we can then change the effect on deck B, C, and D, so you can have them all different. So you can have a flanger going over a reverb on different channels.
I think that's really cool, especially the fact that...
That's the noise.
Especially the fact that you've got all these different colors, and I like how it's muted when it's not on.
Absolutely, and it's, I mean, you could change it, but that means normally it starts instantly, but no, because that means I'm a big fan of kill switches. So therefore I can have it down there and then have it turned on, turn it off and then move it around.
Yeah, I love it.
It's a really nice little extra as well to have on there.
Let's take a look at the actual turntable. This is actually my most anticipated feature of this, is the motorized jog wheel.
Yep.
So if we hit the TT button.
Yep, turntable mode.
Yep, and then we press play. It's spinning! That's another cool thing you were telling me about just then as well.
So one thing this can do is, I'm a personal fan of having my platter on my CDJ, for instance, down at around 10 o'clock. I like it to be soft, light, but not too light, not too heavy. But you can change it. So if you're in jog mode and you hold jog mode and TT, you can wind it up. So look, it's really hard. And then you can unwind it as well. You can do it in the software. So that means you can get epic spin backs, because who doesn't like an epic spin back? But if you do have it wound up, even if you then do an epic spin back, it will know that you want to do that and it will release.
Right.
So it's not a permanent fixture, it's I'm holding it, or I can sense you want to do something, let go. So you can have it really tight and then you can still do an epic spin back without actually changing the tension of the platter, which I think is amazing.
Well, that makes sense because it is like it's not built into the actual hardware. It's not a physical thing like the CDJs where it's actually physically tightening up the wheel. I really do like this turntable feature though. Like it feels really good.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? When you talk about feedback, so you've got this haptic drive. So those of you who don't know what haptic drive is, it's the little clicker in your phone. So if you've got a new phone and you press something that isn't actually a button, but it makes it feel like one. So you've got haptic drive in here as well, which means you can make it click and you can feel it.
I can feel the hapticness.
Can you feel it?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, so you can feel the ones. If you spin round, you should be able to feel the one of each bar.
Oh my God.
Can you feel it?
Yeah, it's amazing. That is crazy. It feels like my iPhone's home button it's vibrating each time.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's not a vibration like you would like an old phone. It's haptic, and you can actually feel. It's kind of like how a haptic drive works on an iPhone. Yeah, it's got like a hammer almost.
Yeah, it's sort of like a little pulse.
Yeah, it's like a pulse. It's not like a vibration. It's something else. That's so
really cool. And that's
I can't stop doing this. It feels amazing.
We'll leave you to it.
Yeah.
And if we go to the grid button as well, now for those of you who have been a long time Traktor user, you may remember that on the software you'd have to go in, turn on the tick, turn on your headphones cue and all that kind of stuff to get your song beat grid to match your metronome. Now in here we've got grid, so you can literally hold it while it's playing and it will instantly go ding, 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 and the metronome on that song will then be unique to that deck. You can then tweak your grid on the fly like using here, so you can move that back and forward and then let go and it's all perfectly in sync. Instead of it being a long admin job before your set, you can do it on, pretty quickly.
Right.
Which I think is really, really nice.
So previously you couldn't do that on a controller?
You couldn't do it. What you'd need to do is you'd have to go into the preferences, you'd have to turn on the tick, do lots of different channels, and basically it would be, then you'd eyeball it instead and be a bit lazy. Whereas now you can really fine tune what you need. Then at the top here we've got flux and reverse. Some people might know flux as slip mode, and what we can do on here is we can have reverse mode. Now if you notice on here, Stanley, you've got, it instantly switches into flux mode.
Right.
So one thing that's really can be annoying, which I've always found with reverse, is it throws your phrasing off. Because obviously you'll add then an extra bar, an extra 2 beats. So what they've done is they've made reverse an instant flux reverse. So every time you do it, you can hold reverse, but it'll jump to the next section.
Right, so it's like slip reverse.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So what if you want to actually use reverse?
Then what you do is you hit reverse and then flux instantly. And then it's...
I'm gonna say there, that is completely counterintuitive to how that should work.
I agree. I personally think reverse should be reverse, flux should be flux, and if flux is on, reverse is flux reverse.
Yeah.
But that's how it is at the moment.
Yeah.
Who knows, it could change.
Can you remap that if you wanted to?
I believe, anything in here you can remap.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing. And the mapping is something that you really get in depth with, but anything can be remapped. You could make this obsolete or make it something else and use another controller. Yeah,
to me that's been the beauty of Traktor, which is it's just highly customizable in terms of MIDI mapping.
Absolutely. Yeah. Then when we go down even further, we've now got a screen, a little screen here, which is quite defined, as you can see. And on here we've got our information, which we can change, but we've got our title, BPMs, and we've got our key on here. So anyone who does a harmonic mixing and uses the Camelot wheel, there is out there as well. You've got the Traktor wheel, which replicates that. It just swaps A's and B's to M's and D's. And then you can actually hold shift now, hold loop, and actually change the key. As you can see on the screen, we're moving that up and down. And that means when you press play, and then you can match that with another song in a different harmonic key. So other things you can look at on the screen apart from the key, we've got our loop size, and then if we activate it, it will go green, so we know definitely it's on loop. We've also got our time remain and our BPM, and you'll notice it changes. So not the BPM of the song, but actually the BPM that's currently at, which is really, really handy to be in flick and change. Yeah, that's good because a lot more of these controllers, I've noticed, are making it so that you focus more on the decks and less on the screen, so you get less of that Serato or Traktor face. Absolutely. Yeah, I totally get that. Whenever that's why when I DJ, I try and have my laptop not in the center, try to have it as far away as possible. Always. Yeah, because that way I don't have to, I'm not like this. You don't look like you're typing emails while you're DJing. Not on Facebook. Then what we've also got down here, you may realise that this has completely changed the outlook. So you being a user of a lot of hardware, play and cue are in the position that you would associate now with play and cue. Whereas before they had rubber keys in a row, now they've got play and cue. And as you can feel, I think they're metal, they're really responsive or hard plastic. Yeah, they feel really good. They feel just like you would find on a CDJ. Absolutely, they were trying to get this whole club feel behind it, which I think they've done really well. And, little small thing, they haven't mirrored it this time. It's exactly the same both sides. Yeah. That being said, when you get used to the mirror side, you then go, oh no, that's not play button. Yeah. You have to wind it back. But for people that are coming in that are not existing Traktor Control users, this will be refreshing for them because it'll be exactly the same. Now let's get on down to the deck selection and these buttons here. One thing they've got, which is a really nice thing, is we've got deck A playing above, and then we've got deck C playing below. Okay, we can change them, we can move them around. But if we want deck A platter, but we have, say for instance, the remix deck under deck C, we could actually just hit samples, and this goes from hot cues to the top samples on the remix decks. Right. So I can press play, which is then deck A, and these two at the same time, whereas you couldn't because you'd have to flick in between if you did that, which I think is a really nice little option that you can have. Same thing, we've got stems, so if anyone uses stem decks, you've got your stem buttons underneath, that could become stems, and then you've got mutes for them, then you've got filters for them all, and all sorts of stuff as well, which I think is really, really cool. And then lastly, we've just got a lot bigger tempo fader, which everyone's a fan of because you can really fine tune your mix. Yeah, the old one was like half this size. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And because of that, people go, but the increments now can be a lot smaller, which means we can get a lot finer beat match. So in terms of the build quality of this whole thing, it's got like a kind of rubberized-ish, I don't know what it is, it's kind of like plasticky. Yeah, plastic with something on top, it's recycled plastic. Oh, is it? Yes. Wow. It's got this kind of matte feel to it. Now, when you do your crabbing, you will scratch it up a little bit, but then that can be rubbed out. And also, it's got a nice little convenient cutout section just to pick it up.
All right, guys, hope you guys enjoyed that video on our little talk about the Traktor Kontrol S4 Mark III. It is brand new and it is out now.
Absolutely.
So go and check that out at Native Instruments. But you guys should also check us out at pointblankmusicschool.com because we do Traktor courses. I'll let Dave do the explaining.
Sure, we do the weekend intensive courses, mostly done by me, so come and say hello. Also the online course, which is predominantly done by me, which is fantastic. So if you're a beginner or advanced and you're a DJ but you've never touched Traktor before, loads of different reasons why to join up. And don't forget, we also do here our essential DJ skills, so don't miss out on anything. And if you need any help, just give us a shout.
We do everything DJ.
Everything.
All right, guys. See you guys next time. Like, comment, subscribe. See you around.